Newark Castle, the main source of tourism for this small town, home of 30,000. But I'm not here for the castle, I'm here to uncover the hidden and forgotten stories based in this Nottinghamshire town. For instance, did you know that Newark was known as the Key to the North? Or maybe that it was hit by a hurricane? Or maybe that in the 14th century, residents literally lived on a street called Hell Street? I'm James Crampton, and this is There's More Too. Right, so it's day one of my investigation. See if there's anything more about Newark, and I'm heading to the local library. See if there are any more stories worth investigating. Upon searching the library, I came across this book called Ghosts and Legends of Newark. Now, in this book, there's a story about secret passages underneath Newark. Every schoolboy must have been told at some point of the secret passages that are supposedly to be found under the local streets, especially under the old cobbled marketplace. Many of these are likely to have been hurriedly dug during the Civil War. That was back in the 17th century when the enemy was at the town's gates. I'm going to try and find out if these secret passages do actually exist. Now, the first line in this book is interesting. Every Newark schoolboy must have been told at some time about these secret passages. Not much of a secret if everyone knows about it. I think it'd be a good point to start off my investigation by asking some students at the local college. Have you heard about the secret passages underneath Newark?
No.
Yeah, I have.
And do you think they exist?
Yeah, I know this. My dad used to read a lot about it. That's how I know about it, because I lived in it quite a while.
No.
No.
I think I have, yeah.
Where's that?
Yeah, you know where Access Models is in Newark? Just underneath it there's a couple of cellars, and there are about 3 doors in each cellar that are blocked off.
So I headed to Access Models to find out more.
There's like a bit that goes under the road there.
Okay.
Which we've sealed it up because it's really not
Not
that
necessary.
nice. Also down through this door here,
Yeah.
there's again another pathway in under the road, but that's again sealed up now.
Okay.
Okay, so that's one of our cellars. And then we've got another one next door if you want to come this way. Some years ago, about here, the Severn Trent had to break through because there was some kind of sewage leak or something like that. And I believe there's a passageway behind there, but I didn't own the property at the time, so I don't know much more about it than that.
Okay.
And I don't know where it goes. No. Don't know, where was Luke on about? Some kind of hole where he could see through or something? Well, as you can see, it looks like an archway through there, but we've no idea. That could be where it is actually, that could be the entrance to it. Could be, yeah.
So do you know about any other passageways underneath Newark?
There's one I know about that I went in about 30 years ago that goes underneath towards the marketplace and underneath what used to be the Clinton Yard. If you go down Lombard Street and turn left into the delivery area there, you go underneath a bit of a sort of tunnel which goes underneath the car park, and then in the very corner on the right hand side there's a small doorway there. That's where I went in many years ago.
Right, so I'm at a doorway where the bloke from Access Models supposedly went down. Apparently it goes down into the market and spiders out, leading to all different sorts of buildings, but as you can see, it's bolted shut. No one's getting through there. The owner of Access Models spoke of a tunnel that went directly under the road. This would have led to Newark Castle. I went here next to talk to the Castle Ranger. Do you know of the secret passages rumoured to connect Newark Castle to various places in Newark?
Yeah, I've heard rumour. However, that's all that remains is rumour. I was an archaeologist for almost 10 years, and I dug many times in the marketplace due to various alterations, and unfortunately we found no trace or evidence of any tunnel work there.
So the possibility of there actually being secret passages is very much real. Someone from the public claimed that they've walked down them, but I've just spoken to an expert who claims there's no archaeological evidence. There's a story of a man who walked down these tunnels only to be halted by a door. Another of a woman who was walking along these passages but said the stench was so foul she couldn't even continue. Another bloke from the public claimed that he walked down there, but there was a risk hazard, so he filled him in. It's ironic.
I was taken into the cellars of the Wing Tavern near the parish church many years ago, and from there led into a passage which ran for some distance under the marketplace before reaching a sealed exit. But I never did reach the end. My box of matches ran out and I was a bit scared of going back in the dark. It had a strange atmosphere in there, it's not so musty.
I do believe that the main stories of passages come from underground cellars, which we know is underneath the marketplace, and in many cases various owners would knock one cellar into another, and then of course somebody will buy the one next door to that, and then there'll be another entrance knocked through, and then you end up with a series of cellars which appear to be tunnels. There are Victorian sewers which are about that high, and they're Romanesque in style, or Norman like this arch is. They're all over the place, and every so often, as we mentioned earlier, you will get a lorry go through it, because they're only about that deep from the top of the pavements. The weight of the lorry will press down through it. People see this and think, oh, there's the old tunnels.
So these cellars would have been used for storing lasting food and drink, and friendly neighbours would have knocked down the dividing wall, making for easy access and more storage, effectively creating a walkway, a path, a passage. And if no one else knows about it, doesn't that make it a secret? The castle ranger at Rennie gave me the number of local historian Jill Campbell. I'm now going to try and contact her. Hello, is that Jill Campbell?
Jill retired about 2 years ago now.
Oh, did she?
Oh, I remember Jill, I still think she does a lot of the history tours around Newark.
Yeah.
Some heritage tours. I know now she's retired. She did used to have her own number for you, mate. I don't think anyone else here would have it, to be honest. But I'm gutted now, mate, I'm afraid.
No, that's okay.
Alright.
Okay. Bye. I'm struggling to gain contact with Jill Campbell, so I'm heading back to Newark Library to find out exactly which buildings were connected via these secret tunnels. Throughout this investigation, I've been using the internet and nothing has been documented, so I've returned back to the book. And in this book it states that not only were these passageways connected to the castle, but it's also connected to one another in and around the town. So the market was connected to the Wing Tavern, which is a pub, and the Friary, which I know now has been knocked down, was connected to the Queen's Head, another pub, which links drunkards and friars together. And I know the castle was linked to the Prince Rupert, which is, yes, another pub. So I think it brings a new meaning to the term pub crawl. To clearly reveal where these tunnels go, I've got a map of Newark, some pins, and some string. This string here signifies the tunnel routed to connect the castle to the church. This string signifies the tunnel routed to connect access models to the castle. It also shows you in relation to the distance between the two buildings. These points connect the church to the friary, a building which has now been knocked down. There are various other tunnels rumoured to span out from the marketplace. This marker here signifies one going back to Newark Castle. So here is a completed map showing all the tunnels and routes of the passageways that I know about, either through asking the public or through doing my own research. There's one I've yet to mark. That is the Wing Tavern and my next destination. Right, what I do know is that this building is derelict and has been for some time. There's no harm in having a cheeky peek. Well, there seems no obvious way of getting in. They also say it's an unsafe structure and that a ghost roams the halls. Well, there's only one way to find out. I'll get you. I've got it. Cheers. Well, as you can see, everything's bolted up. I ain't getting through here. I think it's best to leave before I bring any public's attention. Although it seems I'm back at square one, there is some vital information I've picked up along the way. Fancy a swim? People claim to have walked down these secret passages, but this is often misconstrued. What people claim are these secret passages could simply be cellars for storing food, or maybe even disused sewers, so if they were travelling through them they could have been literally knee deep. A term used by archaeologists is simplify everything. So when builders were doing some groundwork and stumbled upon these tunnels, they and the public were amazed. They gasped. They thought they'd found the secret tunnels used during the Civil War for the public to escape. Apart from a few wise heads, they took one look at the structure and realised they were made of brick. Now 17th century craftsmen, they would have been using stone. Bear that in mind. There is one more place significant to this investigation that I have yet to be. That is a church, which is ironically right next door to the Wing Tavern. I'm going to go in now and see if I can get an interview. I went into the church and no one was willing to give an interview, but upon searching the grounds I noticed quite a remarkable discovery. Yeah, check out that. I wonder where it leads. Let's go have a closer look. So if you can see these tunnels, this is a passageway that clearly leads down. It's quite a remarkable find. I think it's quite strange that they weren't willing to give an interview on this. Clearly it shows that there are cellars or tunnels of sorts. Whether they actually link with the castle in the Civil War remains to be seen. Unfortunately, my time investigating these secret passages under Newark is over. Although I haven't entered these tunnels myself, evidence does suggest they do exist. However, what they were originally made for remains unclear. What I do know is that these tunnels were constructed hundreds of years ago with limited technology. And whether you're wondering if this is possible, then yes it is. People are still constructing tunnels without the use of heavy machinery. If these tunnels are discovered, then I believe that they should be renovated and then reopened to the public like many others have around the country. This will provide new tourism opportunities and prove that there is more to Newark. I'm James Crampton, join me again.